Grand Admiral Thrawn is the most effective weapon of the Emperor when it comes to suppressing the galaxy. His strategical capabilities and tactical talents are second to none. Yet, against Thrawn's wishes, a development program with an inexhaustible budget has been started. The Grand Admiral can recognize that the power balance of the Empire is shifting. His power, his influence, and his privileges hang in the balance. For what is mastery in battle against a planet-destroying Death Star? Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I am your host, Jonathan Taylor. For today's video, as the title may have already given away, I will be concluding my look into the Thrawn trilogy, or more precisely, the canon Thrawn trilogy, according to the current Star Wars canon, by looking into the final of the trilogy's constituent elements, Thrawn Treason. Just like the other two books, it was originally written by Timothy Zahn and translated to German, the language I read them in, by Andreas Kasprak. Despite this, despite a somewhat united creative collaboration, I couldn't help but notice a particular shift within the presentation of this book, namely the fact that names, or more precisely that certain titles and rank names, are no longer translated to German, even though they were translated in the previous books. And I'm not precisely sure what made Kasprak decide to abandon that convention. I'm pretty sure he has his reasons, and it's subtle enough that I probably wouldn't have noticed it if I read these books as they were intended to come out, like one every year. But still, it is something that I found significant enough to comment upon. As for what's actually going on within this book, it sees the action once again focusing on the affairs of the Galactic Empire from Star Wars. So, as such, a lot of characters from that empire, including the guy on the background of the cover, this one right here, make either their return or their debut within the series. What does that necessarily say about the quality of this book? Well, nothing in particular, but there are some things I can say about the quality of this book. And there's an ambulance passing by. Might be an ambulance, might be a fire engine, who knows. I'm just gonna let it pass. Come on, hurry up, I'm filming something. Yeah, I should mention it's raining, so yeah, people are doing reckless shit now. Anyway, the summary of my impressions when it comes to this book are, I think this book is a somewhat better rendition of what the first book in this trilogy actually intended to do, because it does a somewhat better job at presenting the split allegiances of its titular character and showcasing how exactly said titular character handles the political maneuvering that is present within the Empire. But it does so without sacrificing anything about him that makes him distinctive and a meaningful figure within this series. I do have to say there are some details as far as the battles described that I don't think are as effective as they could be. But the general presentation this book has going for it is still nevertheless immersive and captivating. So if you've read the previous books and have enjoyed them, then I can pretty safely say that you will enjoy this conclusion to the trilogy, given it is more of the same but a little bit more refined. And now that I'm done with the general impressions, it's time I delved into some specifics. The plot of the book follows its titular character as he is given a task as he accomplishes a task that he personally disapproves of, a task which he turns into a bet. Namely, his task is to uncover the or rather is to take care of the sabotage occurring occurring not occurring affecting the supply lines and production process of Project Stardust, as it is known in universe, or the Death Star, as most people outside of the universe are are better aware of it. And he has to do that within a very specific time frame, all while being under the very scrutinous eyes of a nosy observer. From this quite simple premise, a much more complex and involving story ends up unfolding. That is perhaps somewhat obvious given the size of this book, because if this were a more simple mission, the book would have been much shorter. Anyway, regardless, I think you can tell from what I've said that this book goes on a lot of twists and turns, and therefore there are a lot of plans that are interwoven and in many ways respond to each other, all of which are carried out by a variety of different parties. Some hostile to each other, some working together in some capacity or other. And and I have to say that the author does a great job at keeping this extravagant plot, or rather a plot that covers all of these more unconventional scenarios grounded, for lack of a better term, making sure that the reader still has a good overview and solid understanding of what exactly is going on as he is presenting these these narratives and these these events unfolding. There are some issues where I think, or there are some points where I think he drops the ball and kind of leaves the readers hanging. For example, there is at least one battle scene that I wish could have been developed a little bit better, or have a better presentation. There are some research directions that are either dropped or suddenly mentioned out of the blue, and I find myself being less than convinced about the when it comes to the open ending of this book. Given I can't help but think that it undermines the somewhat strong conclusion that I think this book would have otherwise had. Though I could see arguments for why this ending works. Nevertheless, even with these faults in mind, the book is still effective at the plotting is still effective at delivering the the events of the book in a compelling and captivating manner. In many ways, carrying this story along. However, it doesn't do so unassisted. The characterization also helps quite a bit. The cast of this book is noticeably larger than that of previous books. However, the author still has a good grasp on what makes each individual character tick, and therefore knows how to present their interdimensionality. What defines them as people. And by that I mean he has a good grasp of their goals, of the ways in which they work, of the ways in which they strategize, of the goals they set, of the motivations behind these goals, and to some extent how they confront various situations they are pitted against. That also allows for a little bit more character dynamics and more opportunity for for character conflict, because with a cast that's large, there are likely to be broader divisions among the cast, and I'll say that these divisions are quite well utilized in order to develop these characters and present new facets to them. So in that sense, I find that the characterization is quite effective in terms of rendering higher dimensionality to these characters. Another thing that supports this book is the world building, which isn't really as flashy as it could be considering the franchise this book is from, but it does still very effectively support the various twists and turns that that the plot goes down, giving the characters a lot of toys with which to play around, but also showcasing a variety of different anchor points that that the characters use, and which the leads have to navigate around if they are to accomplish their missions and see their plans come to fruition. So to that end, I find this to that end, I find the world building to still work, still be quite effective, even though it doesn't steal the show, so to speak. Overall, while I find that there are some points where this book is lacking, the total package nevertheless comes together in a very intriguing manner, managing to create an immersive and captivating reading experience. My final rating for Thrawn Treason is a 4 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself or to my review of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I would suggest you check out should you choose to. I also have a second channel where you can hear me talking about whatever crosses my mind, though it'll typically still be related to narrative analyses, but of works outside of the print medium. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and see what I got to say there. If, however, you want to hear more about my thoughts on the print medium and selected works therein, I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog of book reviews, writing advice, and miscellaneous connected topics. If none of what I've said interests you, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it from me. So until next time, I'm Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.